Good evening, everybody, and welcome to Talk the Talk of the Super Bowl. I need to start by giving you a little skinny on who I am. I'm Tim Wall, the author of the book that you see on your screen. That's Footballogy, Elements of American Football for Non-Native Speakers of English. And it's available in print and ebook at Amazon, Barnes and Nobles, and many other online retailers, as well as brick and mortar stores. So it's there you have it. It's for you, and I hope you enjoy it if you decide to get it or recommend your friends to it. This presentation is based on the book. We're going to start with a quiz, and quiz is I have 20 questions there. I'm going to fast forward through it because this will be recorded, and you will be able to look at the questions and go through them from 1 to number 20, and you can stop the video. And when you stop the video, and then on the next page, you're going to find the answers right there on the left, the answer key. And to the right, you'll have worksheets or you'll have excerpts from the book that consist of matching exercises, multiple choice, crossword puzzles, and word searches. It's based on well, I think it's really fun reading, exciting reading, and stuff that will help teach you American football and its culture. I'm going to start now with a movie. Well, it's not really a movie. It's a clip taken from a very good ESL site where they discuss American football and they trace its history. It's not related to the Super Bowl per se, but it still draws a connection that should help us draw or connect the dots to the Super Bowl. So let me start that right now. Okay, here we go. It will go forward and then we'll stop and answer a question. Okay, what's the answer there? Field. Okay, Field. Field. And the answer is bingo. That means we got it right. Let's go on to the next one here. Okay, what's the answer here? The squads are, select the right answer, offense, defense, special teams, neutral teams. So it looks like we get multiple answers here. Okay, and let's see, right? Bingo. We got it correct. On the next one here. Answer three answers. Three answers were correct. What is the aim of the game? Fill in the gap. Move the ball into the, what's the answer? And zone. One word. To score a, what's that called? Touchdown. Do you remember the other word for touchdown? We discussed it the other night. It has to do with money, money, pay dirt. Yes. We use that in everyday life. Pay dirt means you hit the jackpot, you win the lottery, or you get really lucky in something. And you can say to your friend, I hit pay dirt. Well, what happened here? Oh, even your teacher makes a mistake. End zone, I put it down as two words and it's actually one word. Okay, so, oh well, now we know. One of the plays called. Answer in your own words. EOWNS, I hear somebody say. Okay, let me do it. I got it right, yes. Okay, go on. What's the answer? Okay, how often must the offense move the ball? Fill in the gap. Okay, Joy, 10 yards. I'm going to put down the number, or you can say, you can spell it out, TEN. Every how many plays? If you said 4, that is correct. It asks us, okay, 10 yards every 4 plays. Perfect. How many points is a field goal? With the words in order. Okay, what's the first word? Ah, field goal is 3 points. Yeah, we got it right. Bingo. So they dinged us on that end zone thing there. So it's actually 2 words. We had one. So, okay, well, go back to PowerPoint here and continue with that now. Exit out. Okay. Okay, we'll go on. Okay, we have in football, this to the left is a graphic of the way the players line up, offense and defense. And then on the right is a close-up view. That's called a three-point stance or crouching position. Crouch is a verb and it means to get down low, as you can see the players are doing there. In the photo at the left, which team is on defense, the red or the white? I think Joy said earlier, she said the red team, and Joy gave a good explanation. I don't know if anybody heard her, but she said the team on in white was on offense. And how did she know that? Well, they had the ball. Okay, one of the players does not crouch. What's the title of his position? You see him there in the left hand, in the white team on the left. If you said quarterback, you're absolutely right. Okay, now football. Steve wanted to know why he asked a minute ago about why is it just 11 minutes? The game, you go to a football game and it's 3 hours long, but it's only 11 minutes of action. Holy Toledo. Why all the excitement for a game that's just 11 minutes? Soccer is continuous. Basketball is pretty much that way too, and hockey, but not football. Well, part of that is that football is a mental game. Yes, it may seem kind of strange to say that when you have a lot of these big guys out there hitting each other, but it's like they're planning strategy on both offense and defense. The offense will have a play, it takes about 7 seconds, and then they go back to a huddle. That's when they gather around in a circle and they discuss the strategy for the next play. Will it be to run the ball or will it be to pass the ball? And part of the fun for the spectator is to try to anticipate what the team is going to do. So sit in the stands or watch on TV and try to guess, well, I think he's going to hand the ball off. That's when he takes the ball, quarterback, and gives it to a running back, and he's going to run off to the right side of the offensive line. Or maybe you might say, no, I think he's going to fade back, way back, and throw the ball long. Whatever the case is, you're trying to anticipate what they're going to do. So while the offense is planning their strategy, well, the defense also. They have to get in position. They try to anticipate what the play will be. And of course, their object is to stop them. So this is an excerpt from my book right there. It's on page 21. A scoreboard. No game would be complete without a scoreboard. And there you have it. Um, we have two teams, of course, the away team and the home team. The home team this week will be the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. The away team will be the Kansas City Chiefs. The away team is also called the visitor. As you can see there, it's yellow highlighted, and that they usually wear white. And Kansas City will wear white this weekend as they play in the Super Bowl. That's not always the case in the regular season. Okay, well, I'll get to why they are the home team and why they're designated uh, the visiting team in just a minute. But that's basically the way it is there. The scoreboard is actually inaccurate. It has at the top 30 minutes, while a quarter is only 15 minutes. And they don't have any measurables by 30 minutes in a football game. This Sunday, Super Bowl 25 and Roman numeral. They've all had Roman numerals right from the beginning, except Super Bowl 50. That was a regular 5-0. The first two Super Bowls were actually not officially called Super Bowls. They were called the AFL NFL Championship games. But unofficially at the time, I grew up then, and I remember calling it the Super Bowl. We were watching the first Super Bowl. It wasn't called, didn't have a numeral designation. So this Sunday, well, there you have it. It's going to be on CBS Television Network at 6:30 p.m. Eastern. What time is that, California? Did I hear 3:30? You're absolutely correct. The time that's it's going to be, of course, in China, it's going to be like at that time it will be about 7 o'clock in the morning, or yeah, about that 7:30 in the morning. So depending upon where you are, and it could be late at night or early in the morning the next day on Monday. Down below is a link from the NFL. It gives you international access. It tells you where and how you can watch the game or stream the game in your country. It is the most watched television sporting event in the United States, and it rivals the World Cup in viewership worldwide. The contestants for this week, the Kansas City Chiefs and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. The Kansas City Chiefs are from the American Football Conference. That's their logo to the right. The 4 stars represent how many how many divisions there are in the American Football Conference. And that's the same with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers down below. Um, to the right is the National Football Conference. They also have 4 divisions in their conference. You will notice under the team names, I have numbers 14-2 and 16-2. 14-2 means the win loss record during the regular season. They won 14 games and they lost 2. And then 16-2 means they had to play a postseason, which we'll get to in a minute, and they won both of those games. So their total record is 16-2. Down below, Tampa Bay Buccaneers, same thing. Their record isn't quite as good. And to the left is the National Football League logo. And you will notice again, they have stars on theirs too, but they have 8 stars. And what does that mean? Why do you think they have 8 and the other 2 have only 4? That's right. It's the 2 conferences combined into one, the NFL. And here's the home jerseys. Tampa Bay will be the home team. That's so they'll be wearing the dark uniforms. And in Kansas City will be the away team, and they'll have white jerseys. Another name for jerseys is, of course, what? Shirts. That's right, shirts. So they will be wearing those. Now, this year is kind of a unique year for the home team. It's never happened before in the NFL, and that is after 55 Super Bowls, where they scheduled the Super Bowl in a neutral stadium. That means a stadium, usually in the warmer areas of the country, where well, hopefully the team from that city, the NFL team from that city, does not win and advance. That has never happened until this year when the home team, Tampa Bay Buccaneers, are playing a game in their real stadium during the year. Normally, that constitutes during the regular season, that would be called home field advantage. And that means when they play in their familiar confines of the stadium and their fans and the physical structure, they know where everything is. They feel at home, in other words, and it usually gives them an advantage. So, well, this year, I don't know. They'll have the same physical structure, but because of COVID, instead of the 76,000 people that normally can fit into the stadium, they're only going to allow in 22,000 people. And not only that, but people will be coming in from all over the country and indeed all over the world to attend the game. So it won't be just fans from Tampa going in to root for their home team. Root means to cheer for. Um, excuse the interruption. I just had a phone call and I had to um, mute it. So the one other thing I wanted to say is that the NFL has a rotating scheme in which one year the NFL is the home team, and one year the NFC is the home team, and another year the AFC is the home team. Well, on odd years, that's 2021. On odd years, the NFC is the home team, is the designated home team, and that's the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. So here we go. Here's a look at the teams. We did this on Wednesday, but here they are again. We have 4 conferences. I'm just going to go on beyond that. I'm typing. I had recorded this earlier and I didn't remove the audio. So we have at the top we have the AFC and down below we have the NFC. And where are they from? They're all over the country. We have 32 teams, 16 in each conference. How many teams? Look at the map here and look at the states. They're all marked out. How many teams are in California? Did I hear 3? You're absolutely right. Okay, there are 2 other states that have 3 teams. Give me one of them. Florida. Yeah, that's easy. It's right down there by itself. Teams are the Jacksonville Jaguars, Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and the Miami Dolphins. And there's one other state with 3 teams. That's New York State. We have the Buffalo Bills, New York Jets, and the New York Giants. These are the final NFL stadium standings. And let me get to. Okay, so look at that right there. This will be something you will do on the next page where you will look at the teams right here. Look at their records. The one at the top, AFC North, that actually is the Baltimore Ravens. You wouldn't know that just from the logo, but you can go back to the previous page. If you're looking at the film, you can see on the previous page, well, it doesn't really say, it just gives the logo there, but that's the Baltimore Ravens. So 11-5. Okay, now I want you to take those. I'll give you a minute for this. And here are your answers. And when you see this on tape, I know I'm going quite fast over this, but you'll be able to pause the video and do your recording of the answers and then check your answers on the next page. So I'm kind of rushed right now. I'm going through this as fast as I can, largely because I don't have a paid subscription to Zoom, and so I need to do it within their time allotment. Here's the playoff structure. There were 8 teams or 7 teams from each conference that qualified. On the left is the AFC, on the right is the NFC, and in the middle is Super Sunday, the Super Bowl between the Chiefs and the Buccaneers. And you will see that the Ravens beat, in the left, upper left, the Ravens beat the Titans 20-13. And then they advanced, and let's see, they advanced and played the the Colts. Let's go through the first one here. The Ravens won over the Titans 20-13. Then they advanced and they played the Bills down in the lower left, and the Ravens lost to the Bills 17-3. And so the Bills went on to the championship, the AFC championship, and they played the Kansas City Chiefs. So you have the structure there of the 7 teams who qualified for the playoff. Kansas City, the first game, they only played 2 games in the playoff. Because the first week they had a vacation, or it's called a bye, because they had the best record in the AFC. So they had a week off, while the Ravens, the Titans, The Browns, the Steelers, the Colts, and the Bills all had a game to play. And then the winner of those games face each other. And the winner of those games, the winner of those games played the Chiefs in the championship. And the same was true on the right hand side. It was starting with the Buccaneers, and at the top and down below the Saints and the Bears. They had it was actually a boring game, but some games are not exciting. Some are better than others for sure. And they went on, and eventually it was on the right of the Super Bowl 55 on CBS. You see the Buccaneers played the Packers, and it was a fairly close game, 31-26. And then they played the Chiefs because they beat the Bills quite handily, 38-24. That will be the game this Sunday. Now, the stars of the game. I'd like to go over all the players, but that would be a lot. There's a lot of stars in this game. But the ones you're going to hear the most about are the one on the left, his name is Tom Brady. The one on the right, his name is Patrick Mahomes. He's from the Chiefs. Okay, just a little information about these two guys. Um, Tom Brady is also known as GOAT. That's GOAT, meaning greatest of all time. That's an interesting term because in sports, you are either a hero wins the game, but the person who loses the game, he does something where his team loses, he's called the GOAT. Well, he's called the GOAT for another reason. He's the greatest of all time. In other words, as we read the bulleted points, not only is he the oldest player at 43 and the oldest player to play in the Super Bowl this year will be his 10th Super Bowl, but he has won 5 Super Bowls and he has the most Super Bowl appearances. As I said, this year will be his 10th. No other player has come close to that. And he has set all kinds of records. American football is really full of statistics, which I really, in this presentation, I'm not going to get into. And another one, we can go over the statistics, what they mean, and stuff like that, because there's a lot to be said about statistics. And he's called the GOAT. On the right, Patrick Mahomes. Don't call my son Pat. That was a direct quote from his mom. Yeah, don't call. Pat is a nickname for Patrick. And I guess his father goes by the name of Pat, but his mother said she named him Patrick, and that's what she wants. And that's another thing about American culture too that may or may not be relevant to this discussion on the Super Bowl, but we have a penchant or a liking for giving people nicknames. So Pat is a nickname for Patrick. I know with my son Alexander, that's his name, and we were afraid to be called Alex. Alex is okay, but we like Alexander better. We were going to name him Archimedes. My wife and I both love that name, Archimedes. He was the founder of mathematics. But we were afraid that people couldn't pronounce that and would name him the nickname for Archimedes, which is Archie. Archie the comic book. We had a character in a situation comedy on TV called Archie Bunker. So, no thanks. We named him Alexander. Well, anyway, back to Patrick. He's the youngest quarterback to win the Super Bowl last year, 24. The Chiefs are in the Super Bowl for the second straight year. He was also named the most valuable player of last year's Super Bowl. And he was also named the most valuable player of the whole National Football League in 2018. And of course, this year he led the Chiefs to the best season record. Okay, I put up a few of these referee hand signals. You're going to see a lot of them in the game. Fortunately, you're going to have the announcer to help you out. The referee will give the signal, and then he's wired or wirelessly connected to the PA system. And so when there's a penalty or something is happening on the field, he gives a hand signal. That's an old tradition that dates way back, well over 100 years, to the beginning of football. You get the hand signals, And a lot of people who really know a lot about football will know automatically what they mean. But he will turn on his microphone and announce what the penalty is or the reason for the hand signal. They're not always penalties. It could be timeout, or it could be um, like signaling a touchdown or an incomplete pass or something. But he'll let you know what it is. Um, the one on the far left, that's the most common signal. That's the signal everybody likes to see. The hand straight up in the air like that. That means touchdown at 6 points, or it could mean a point after touchdown, which is either a seventh point or an eighth point, and then we have a field goal. The one below that is also a scoring signal. That means a safety. A hands he's folded in prayer like that. And then timeout, see that a lot in a game. A team will call timeout, or sometimes the referees do too. If they have to discuss something, a play or something. So anyway, you're going to see these a lot in the game this Sunday, and listen for the play-by-play announcer. That's the person who calls the game on the TV or radio, and he'll tell you what's going on. And then they usually have an analyst, and he will analyze why it happened, how it happened. So it's really a very good way to learn these signals. And if you really want to follow football, I think you should learn some of the basic ones. And these are all in my book. Not all of them, but I have many of them in my book. If you want a real comprehensive guide for everything, well, you can look in the NFL website. I have that down at the bottom as well as my book. All right, well, I'm not going to spend much time on here, although I could and I should, but this is statistics. I put that in here because you're going to learn that in the United States, we are really big on stats. Those on the left, the biggest, the best, the first, the fastest, the longest, the most, the strongest, the stingiest, the least, and the worst. What's stingiest? These are all comparative adjectives. Stingy is a verb, is the adjective form, but stingier, that's comparative, and stingiest. What is it? In Spanish, it go like this: elbow. It means tacaño. But you're right. It means you don't like to give anything away. So in football, a defense that gives up few points, it's called a stingy defense. And now when we do a comparison with statistics, we look at the yards throughout the season, how many yards they allow to the other team's offense. And if they allow the fewest yards, then they're often called a stingy defense, or compared to other teams, they're the stingiest. When you look in the paper or you hear on the TV while watching the game, you'll see them show some statistics on the screen. They do that very often during the game. That's another way to keep people entertained because, as I said, they have a play, it goes for 7 seconds, and then there's allowed time in between plays. So that's the time that they'll put up statistics. And Americans love statistics. If you're doing business with Americans, throw out some statistics. Learn statistics, not only football, but everything about our culture is on bigger, better, more, most, anything that's comparison. And anyway, we have some football statistics here that you should be familiar with. Time of possession, that's a big one. That we have 60 minutes in a game, and how many minutes does a team have the ball? Usually a team that's what we call a ball control offense. That means they use a lot of time. They run the ball on the ground. They keep the clock growing. If they have like 35 or 40 minutes and the other team has 20 or 25 minutes, the team with 35 minutes usually wins. But that can be an important factor in helping you decide who's winning the game or even who won the game without looking at the score. Then they have passes attempted, passes completed, the longest pass, um, the average yards per pass play. They have all these things down through there. I suggest that you get familiar with a few of them. I have some of the most common ones there, but when you read about the game the next day in the newspaper, you read about the report, and then below the report will be statistics. Or you look online, and they have all kinds of statistics. You don't know what they mean. You don't know they have a lot of initials. Don't worry. At the bottom, there's a Pro Football Reference Directory. They have all kinds of information about the abbreviations, about the um, statistics, more than you'll ever need to know. But it's all there at the Pro Football Reference. I have the URL there at the bottom. Okay, football. Not only the Super Bowl, but football in general, traditions. Traditions, traditions, traditions. American football would not be the remarkable event that it is without the age old customs and some new, which unify Americans who identify with the school or hometown of their football team. This magic electrifies the air each fall. And now we have up here, I have some pictures. The one at the top is a tailgate party. People like to eat out. They cook at the stadium in the parking lot. This year, due to COVID, they're not having that, and they won't have it for the Super Bowl. On the right, the shadow, the silhouette is a cheerleader. Yes, I heard somebody say cheerleader. That's right. Cheerleader can be a boy too. Usually it's a girl, a woman. Um, and then we have people like to play fantasy football. That's when you were playing. I can't really explain it because I don't do it myself, but it's very popular. FanDuel is a great game. I hear that people play where they imagine they have a team and they pretend that they are the owner of the team, and they buy players, they sell players, they trade players, and whatnot. And then you have marching bands, not Super Bowl. Super Bowl down on the left there. Marching band, not so much. Um, but at regular games during the season, they do. And now here's one I really like down at the lower right. We have this man, this goofy looking man in a chair. That's called an armchair. And he is an armchair quarterback. The word should be there. There they are. They're all right there. There. Ah, I forgot to put the music. The armchair quarterback watches the game, and the next day he says what should have happened or what didn't happen, and and he kind of is there in the chair. Actually, he's talking to the TV set and telling the quarterback to pass the ball. He's telling him what to do. Well, of course, they can't hear him, so that's always fun. He sits in the armchair. It's easy. You're in your living room, and the game's on TV. They can't hear you, but you're the coach. You're telling them what to do, or you're the quarterback. Quarterback's the leader of the team. Tradition, pregame show. All right, halftime show. Let me go back. Let me go back one slide here. All right, the singing of the national anthem at Super Bowls is a who's who of international recording stars. That include Lady Gaga, Beyonce, Mariah Carey, Billy Joel, Pink, and a slew of others. This year, we have country musician Eric Church. He's pictured in the center. He joins R&B sensation Jasmine Sullivan at the left. She's a Grammy and Grammy winner. Her, she's at the right, and she sings the song, the second national anthem, "America the Beautiful." Let me see if I can play a few bars of that. Let me go back. Should be here. There we go. That's called the second national anthem of America, of the United States. And she's going to sing that. Very beautiful song. And I'm looking forward to her singing it. In fact, many people look to the pregame show. They watch the game. The pregame show may go on for 2 hours, and they have an entertainment. That's in the stadium, and people can tune in from home and watch it. And that's just as exciting to some people as the game. Then we have a halftime show, which is a tradition beyond compare. As we mentioned on Wednesday, in the beginning, we had marching bands. You saw that little cartoon, that sketch that we had a few slides ago. We had marching bands, the Grambling State University Marching Band, the University of Arizona Marching Band were at the first Super Bowls, and they entertained the people. They weren't paid, they were amateurs, but that's the way it was. Well, as the Super Bowl evolved, it got more sophisticated, and people's tastes got more sophisticated, and there's more money involved. Players' salaries, staging the event. Tickets went up, for example, for the Super Bowl from $15 for the first one, and now they're over thousands, four or five, $10,000 even for a Super Bowl ticket. It's incredible. You can pay a lot of money. Um, so they bring in world class, world renowned entertainers, recording artists. And I have something here, I'm not going to read all of it because I'll be just repeating what I said. But we've had in recent years Lady Gaga, Madonna, Jennifer Lopez. She was there last year. Jennifer Lopez and Shakira were there last year. We had Paul McCartney. I like him. You know somebody I would like to have, but they probably won't have him, and that's Gustavo Dudamel and the Los Angeles Philharmonic. Yeah, I would love to see a Philharmonic orchestra do something rather than the trendier stuff that you get from pop music and so forth. But something like Gustavo Dudamel. They did have in the 2016 Super Bowl, 2016, 5 years ago, in Santa Clara, California. The featured performer was Coldplay. Well, they must have heard my complaints because I've been writing to the NFL for years about this to get a symphony orchestra or get somebody from classical music in. Well, they invited Gustavo Dudamel, but not the symphony orchestra. It was the LA Youth Orchestra. These are children. These were mostly teenagers, but he has an orchestra from 5 to 19 years of age. And in the ensemble that went with him, I think they were all teens. And they performed, they backed up Coldplay. Well, I would like to see a full, bona fide performance of Gustavo Dudamel. I even have a name for it. It's called, are you ready for this? It's called The Dude and La Phil Duda Super Bowl. Ah, okay. And this year's performer is Weekend. I really don't know anything about him, but he's a very popular performer. Now, a traditional Super Bowl is foods. What would a Super Bowl be without food? People have parties in their home, and there's more food consumed on Super Bowl. It's the second biggest day. Remember what we talk about statistics? Well, somebody's compiling statistics on this. Thanksgiving, that's the fourth Thursday in November. That's the day Americans give thanks and they watch football on TV and they eat a lot of turkey and lots of food. Well, the next biggest day for food consumption or eating is Super Bowl on the Super Bowl Sunday. We call it Super Sunday, by the way. Um, everybody says, "Well, how was your Super Sunday?" Oh, I stayed home. I watched the football game. But anyway, we have chicken wings, potato skins, pizza. Everybody loves that. Hot dogs. The one down at the left, the lower left, pig in a blanket. Pork, pork sausage, and wrapped around dough. And then we have over here, we have pulled pork, chili con carne, nachos. But whatever you can have a party. You can have a big party of just a few people, or you can have a dozen or 50 people. I don't know how it's going to work out this year. They're advising everybody to still isolate and not gather together. So I'm assuming that most people will abide by that. But even so, a small party, family at home, they might have a football Super Bowl party. And whatever you have, though, something must look like a football, as you see in the left, lower left. Something. I'm not sure what that is. As long as it's shaped like a football, they could be crackers or cookies or something to eat, something good. Now I have the verb down below. It's called potluck. Do you know what potluck is? You know, potluck. Can you say it? Potluck. Okay, that's very simply when you visit somebody in their house. You or it doesn't have to be in their house. You go somewhere and everybody's going to be eating. You bring something to share with other people. That's all it is. It's called potluck. And I've shared there on the bottom right, I have links to recipes. So you can access these when you look at the tape, the video. And I have, these are some terms you're going to hear at on the game on Sunday. I'll leave this up on the video. You can stop and pause and look at this over. Or as you can see, it's from my book. These are all terms from my book, Footballogy, Elements of American Football for Non-Native Speakers of English. And it's up here, and I have them, you know, hang time, pick six, and so on. I have more over here. I have a miniature glossary here. And here's more right here, too. I like the one, look at the bottom. There's one at the bottom, the first one that's highlighted in yellow. Have you ever heard that word before? I didn't think you did. Underdog. You have a dog? Well, there's an underdog. That's below. Underdog is a team that nobody expects to win. And that's mostly for people who bet on the game. People who go to Las Vegas or I don't know how they do it, but they bet on the game. And in the game on Sunday, I think Tampa Bay is the underdog. And Kansas City is what they say is favored, Favored, is favored to win. And then so we say here, the sample sentence is the Dolphins were big underdogs, but pulled off an upset of the Jaguars. Now, here's a quiz. Eventually, Footballogy is going to be made into a game show. This one is patterned after a popular one that we had in the United States, or have. So it's around, it's called Jeopardy. It's not exactly the same as that, but I have something that's, the questions are similar. Look at number one. We have, let's do the W's. Well, number one, they sing and dance and have fireworks. What is A, B, C, or D? Halftime. Yes, you're right. Halftime. Look at number two. Where is, okay, I'm sorry. Southeast USA. That's the statement. Southeast USA. Okay, where is A, Los Angeles, B, Kansas City, C, Florida, D, New York, New York? The answer is, did I hear you say Florida? You're right. Number three, eat and feed the face, second only to Thanksgiving. When is A, Carnival? That's in Brazil. United States, they call it Mardi Gras. That's not the right answer. B, Groundhog's Day. C, Valentine's Day, or D, Super Sunday? Yes, you got it. That one was easy. We feed the face. Remember, second only to Thanksgiving. Statistic comes into play. People know that. Whether they need to know it or not, statistics make life worth living to many Americans. I like statistics, really. It's fun. Four, leader of the pack. Example group. Who is A, the pregame host, B, the quarterback, C, the person with the best tailgate party, or D, sideline reporter? The leader of the pack is, remember the person that throws the ball? That's right, the quarterback. And here's a list of my table of contents or my references for you to look at your leisure. If you really want to read about the Super Bowl history, there's a link at the top. It's a reading. It's advanced ESL learners can do it, but I would recommend you have a dictionary handy. And then down below, like you saw earlier, a video clip or went ahead and it stopped. And we had some questions. Well, you can get that from here too. Super Bowl commercials 2020. If you want to see what the commercials were like in years past, and I didn't really talk much about commercials. That is a very important part of the Super Bowl. People live for the Super Bowl commercials, really. They like the halftime show, the pregame show, and maybe in between the game too. But the commercials, the next day after the game, people say, did you see the Super Bowl commercials? Oh, yeah. Which one did you like? Oh, I like that one. Oh, I like that one. The Super Bowl commercials are like miniature movies, only maybe 1 minute or 30 seconds long. And they're mysterious, they're funny, they're socially responsible, like, clean up the environment or stuff like that. Uh, they even can get political too. And so we have enough of that. But they are usually entertaining and they cost a fortune for the companies to produce. In the beginning, the first Super Bowl commercials were $10,000, $15,000 each for 30 seconds. Now, how much? Try about 5 million for a 30-second spot. That may be, it keeps going up. The last I remember is like 5 million for a spot. So football has changed. And then finally, if you really want to find some good information about football, its history, its traditions, and its culture, the culture that's around football, at the very bottom, you see my book, Elements of American Football for non-native speakers of English. It's available at Amazon. I have their link there, but you don't have to get it at Amazon. You can get it at Barnes and Noble, whatever your favorite bookstore is, but it's there. And if you go to Amazon or any other service, type in for your search word footballogy. I know on Amazon it's the first thing that pops up. I would imagine the same is true at other search engines. So happy Super Sunday. The end. Well, I appreciate you stopping by. I hope that this has been entertaining as well as informative, and I hope that you will it aids your ability to appreciate the Super Bowl and participate in this very unique American experience. Whether you're living in the United States or abroad, where people are also watching the football game on Sunday and perhaps celebrating the way Americans do with an in-house party, or whatever you do, I hope that this brings you back together and connects with the sport. It's my pleasure to have taught you, and I will be doing more classes like this later in the year. So until we meet again, adios.